After a certain particular video was released, the TF2 community became extremely interested in making weapons bleed for 8 seconds. So, okay, sure, here you go. Whenever any damage is dealt, 8 seconds of bleed is applied. Hit him once, 1 bleed stack. Hit him multiple times, multiple stacks. Burn someone. Afterburn stacks so hard with bleed that it physically pushes you back across the room. Shortstop shove does 1 damage, so that causes bleed. Falling is damage, and self-damage is damage, so you die if you rocket jump. Jumper weapons also somehow count. But while it's very funny, bleed damage triggering more bleed can't be done. It causes too many game updates, to the point that TF2 on your computer literally gives up and disconnects you from the server. So bleed can't trigger more bleed. So, how did it go? Since 8 seconds of bleed means you automatically take 64 damage, literally everything is incredibly lethal. Getting grazed by a singular bullet is an actual problem, so the meta centralizes into the few classes that don't immediately evaporate. That's Heavy, Medic, and Engineer. Medic, obviously for his healing, so people could exist for more than 3 seconds. Crossbow was super good, almost mandatory for the burst healing since so much damage is being taken. His 4 mediguns were tried, but Uber was the only option that made sense. Crits is very pointless. You don't need more damage, and it's so easy to die from return fire. Vaccinator didn't help since bleed can't be resisted, so even if you're resisting the fire itself, for example, the bleed still overwhelmingly gets you. Spamming quick fix charges to keep your team healthy wasn't a terrible idea, but Pyro still easily cuts through the mega heal. So for pushing in or out, Uber is really the only choice. Medic is important, but he can't focus on more than 2 to 3 people. This is where Engineer and his Dispenser had an important role for the other 10 players. The Dispenser stack stops stray bullets from wiping the team. And Heavy is fat. He has a big health pool and snacks to eat. While other classes are probably better than him in many ways, he survives when other classes wouldn't. Whether it's having just enough health to reach the resupply cabinet, or a clutch snack break. This causes Heavy to impact the game much more than the other classes, since he's simply alive more. He also has a comparatively easier time in-game than others, since being tougher to kill gives Heavy players more leeway to make mistakes or be aggressive. But that's weird. If Pyro has the DPS to melt through a quick fix charge, how does Heavy overshadow Pyro? Pyro was still picked often, and he's not bad, but Heavy was more prevalent for sure. The first problem is that the minigun is usually better than whatever the Pyro has. Flamethrowers are better in close range, but you need to be in close range in the first place, while the Heavy doesn't have to bother. Flare guns are long range, but it's so slow. Between the reload time and being a projectile, the minigun's instant long range damage without reloads is just better. Then there's the sentry guns. In normal TF2, Pyro already gets destroyed by them. Now there's more of them because players are going Engineer to build dispensers, and there's bleed damage. Though sentries terrorize everyone in general. Heavy with full overheal only needs 7 bleed stacks, so 7 sentry hits to die. Against a level 1, it can be manageable, but it's very easy to take 3-4 hits from a level 3 gun and instantly lose the majority of your health. And it gets worse, because engineers soon realize that mini sentries are even better. Why not just spam them everywhere? It's cheap and builds fast, so being destroyed doesn't matter, since rebuilding it is very easy. It has a fast enough fire rate to hit you 2 to 3 times, even on a quick peek. So you put them everywhere, in random corners people don't expect, guaranteeing the mini will get 3 to 5 shots off before people catch on. Sometimes they even just outright die. As for the other classes, nothing amazing, nothing terrible. Spy was great as an actual assassin. Cloak gives him the freedom to get into strange corners and snipe important targets. Sniper, in contrast, would have instantly died trying to walk through a doorway to get a shot onto a medic hiding behind cover. Soldier and Demo had their niche for taking down tricky sentry nests when a heavy or pyro uber isn't cutting it, or getting an uber in the first place is hard. But neither Soldier or Demo were good against a heavy or pyro. Scout and Sniper weren't great, but if you really wanted to play them, you can spam people with pot shots and bother them with bleed. Overall, since taking a few hits can genuinely end you, the game slowed down and you needed to be very aware of your positioning. If you hate having to tiptoe around sniper sightlines, now everyone has a sightline you need to respect. You need to be careful, even Ubered too. While you don't take damage with Uber, being hit still stacks bleed. So if you Uber in and take a bunch of sentry fire, when the Uber is over, all of those stacks start to hurt and you instantly die. We tried Freaky Fair and found out the medic shield melts. On 100 player Saxton Hale, we never got to actually kill him because every Saxton would crash out of the server from all the game updates. "24 player was okay though, and he lost a lot of blood.
Blood. And you know,